earth, and air. The four elements that made up the world for the ancient Greeks, all on display here at Awaka. Welcome to the International Broadcast Center in Athens. I'm Inga Hammond. Well, teamwork is the name of the game for the sports we have for you tonight. We start off in the pool with the precision of synchronized swimming. Then it's the bump, set, and spike of men's volleyball. But first up, the technical routine in synchro. It's kind of like the short program in figure skating. Synchronized swimmers must perform several required elements in a specific order and in a set time. The technical routine counts for 50% of the total score, so falter here and your medal chances are in serious jeopardy. In other words, for the synchronized swimmers, it's sink or no swim. Let's go to the Olympic Aquatic Center for the duet competition. With the call, here's Don Chevrier and Tracy Ruiz-Conforto.
Here comes the Chinese duet on the technical routine. Gu Beibei and Zhang Xiaowan representing China. And they start, Tracy, with a little performance on the deck. No more than 10 seconds, right?
That's right. The entire routine is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And they kind of set up the mood with that deck work. And deck work is actually judged.
What are the things to look for here?
There are 8 required elements that the judges are going to be looking for, and they all need to be performed in order. There's the first required element, the half twist, followed by a twirl and a continuous spin. They added a little bit of difficulty there because they were underwater before that required element. They had hybrid, the required element, and another hybrid, so they did add some difficulty there. China placed 7th in the pre-Olympic competition. There's another required element, the thrust, followed by a twirl with a rapid descent. And then the Ariana, which is a back walkover, just like in gymnastics. The judges are going to be looking at those splits to make sure they're perfectly flat on the water, and then it is followed by a walkout. Executed pretty well. The next element the judges are going to be looking for is a bent knee vertical, followed by a combined spin. They want to get maximum height there. One lady reached the top a little bit before the other one did.
The music is Summer Night, proposed by On Pink.
And the rocket split that you just saw there was just a little bit off vertical as they reached the top. The spin was just a little bit off. They're going to finish this routine with an underwater hybrid. And the repetitive motion the audience loves. They're trying to give a very good last impression to the judges.
And Tracy, your impression?
Well, I think they had a few things to work on with their spins, their verticals. It is a better routine than I actually have seen them swim in practice, though.
So we await the scores. The first score will be for execution, and the second for overall impression. 50% on each for the total in this technical part of the duet competition.
And this is the bent knee vertical, followed by a combined spin. And you can see one of the ladies is reaching the top a little bit earlier than the other. The rocket split, followed by the 360 spin, and the vertical on the way down on those spins were not spinning on axis.
So they emerge to await their scores. Gu Beibei, Zhang Xiaowan, waving to the crowd. There are 8 judges, and there's the overall score, 46.167.
Execution 9.3, 9.2, 9.2, 8.9, 9.3. Συνολική εντύπωση 9-4, 9-3, 9-4, 9-4, 9-4, Overall impression 9.4, 9.3, 9.4, 9.4, 9.4. Σύνολο 46,584. Total 46.584.
46.584 as they depart as the first team competing here in technical duet.
The games of the 28th Olympiad on the networks of NBC are brought to you by Tylenol 8 Hour, providing muscle
Dose.
And Don, this is a really fast-paced, extremely difficult routine. They got third at the 2003 World Championships in Barcelona.
Gemma Menguel was born on the site of the 92 Olympic Games, Barcelona, Spain. Away they go.
And they spend a lot of time underwater before they even get into their required elements. And another long underwater hybrid here.
Can they hear the music underwater?
Yes, they can, and sometimes they can hear it better than above because they don't have to contend with all the crowds clapping. Here's their first element, the half twist, followed by a rapid twirl, followed by a continuous spin. Now they do 8 rotations, more than anybody I've seen here. One spinning a little bit faster than the other, but the levels were pretty good. And they'll get credit because they added difficulty with spinning so many times around.
Swimming to the movie soundtrack of Zorba El Drago.
Ballet leg combination. Judges are going to be looking at the height there and the vertical on those. And right into another hybrid. Again, difficulty. The thrust with a 180-degree spin, and that was just a little bit off. That's so hard to do because they've got to get that thrust as high as possible, hold that vertical before the spin, and it was just a little off vertical. The Ariana, be looking at those splits. Pretty synchronized there. Notice how close they swim together. And the bent knee combined spin. They do 3 rotations down and 3 rotations up. The levels are pretty good. Not quite perfect, but the end was nice and high. Rocket split, 360 spin, again off vertical, just a little bit on that spin. And a very fast end, hard to synchronize. They did pretty good. They had a few little problems on the spins. That's what's going to separate the top ladies in this competition from the rest.
Well, as the music accelerated to a crescendo, they had to speed it up too toward the end accordingly and did a pretty good job.
This was non-stop action. Even in slow motion, they're synchronized there. And it looks like they're having a great time. They really want to get that bronze medal here. Silver or gold, anything will do. And you could see as they descended on that thrust spin, one got higher than the other. Three rotations here. You can see they're not quite spinning on axis. They're not quite vertical as they spin down.
Let's see if they can match the scores for the first duet from China. As they emerge from this beautiful facility. Seating 5,000, pretty much filled tonight.
And Don, in the execution score, the judges are going to be looking at two things. 70% of what they're looking at is going to be the required elements.
Execution, those are the scores.
Execution, 9.4.
The judge from Sweden, pretty tough on them.
9.3, 9.7, 9.7.
The high and the low is going to be dropped.
Now overall impression. 9.6, 9.6, 9.6 across the board.
Overall impression, 9.6.
They've definitely left a little bit of room here for the United States, Japan, Russia, Canada.
They don't quite match what the Chinese duet did.
Total, 47.
Better scores than the Chinese.
Yes, they have. They're ahead of them now. 47.917, 46.584. So they have passed China, and their technical routine is done. Freestyle tomorrow. Tipo.
Virginia Didu received a bronze medal in the Olympics in Sydney with Myriam Lignaud. And so she's back again with a brand new partner. This routine has a lot of personality, and again, they do add difficulty.
Toma Cutoma is the music. How long is the routine, Tracy?
The routines are 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's not a lot of time to fit 8 required elements. And then add a little personality and some difficulty along the way. Here we go with the first element. A little bouncy on the vertical. One, again, spinning down before the other.
This must be the most rehearsed and practiced sport in the Olympics, to synchronize the way they do.
They spend many, many hours getting ready for international competition. They spend 8 to 10 hours a day practicing the required elements and then just choreographing the routines. Trying to get everything perfectly matched. Ballet leg combination here. Thrust with a half twist, and actually that looked pretty good.
I like it when the feet enter the water at exactly the same point.
Yes, yes, just like in synchronized diving, they need to enter at exactly the same point and get that vertical position. Bent knee vertical, followed by a continuous combined spin. Nice height, nice descent. And that is one of the most difficult elements, the rocket split with a 360 spin. They were slightly on their face on the descent on that spin. And you'll see a lot of these duets add a hybrid right at the very end.
Would this be the most impressive of the 3 we've seen so far, Tracy?
No, I think I like Spain better. I think technically that Spain was better. And in between all of the required elements, I think they were a little bit more synchronized as well.
Here we see a portion of their routine.
You can see the lady on the right was really falling off her vertical line. And here is the required egg beater section of the routine in the Ariana. Could be a little bit higher in that split position. You can see they're having a little bit of trouble on the spin. They're sort of wobbling outside, out and around, not perfectly vertical.
So they are back on the deck to await their scores.
The swimmers representing
First for execution, 50%, and then the second 50% will be for overall impression from the 5 judges.
But move here. Scores.
Warm round of applause from the spectators. And here it is, ranging from 9.2 up to 9.6.
Execution 9.5, 9.4, 9.6, 9.2, 9.6. Συνολική εντύπωση.
Here's the overall impression. A couple of 9.7s in there.
Overall impression 9.7, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, 9.7. Σύνολο 47.
That moves them into second place in the technical routine.
667.
Το ντουέτο από την Τσεχία.
Presenting duet now.
Completed by a continuous spin. The second, a boost, which is a rapid head-first rise, with both arms lifted to reach maximum height. The third is the egg beater, which must travel and include a sequence of arm movements. Then the traveling ballet leg combination to include 3 different positions. Next is the vertical thrust followed by a twirl. Then the Ariana. It's a back walkover to a split position. Then it rotates followed by a front walkout. 7 is the bent knee vertical followed by a combined spin. And last, the rocket split completed with a rapid 360-degree spin. It is.
Duo, Anastasia Davidova and Anastasia Ermakova, both from Russia, both 21 years old, and tabbed as maybe the team to watch here.
And they won the World Cup and the World Championships in 2002 and 2003, and Russia really has become a world power in all of the events.
They set the stage on dry land.
And they are probably some of the fittest synchronized swimmers here at this competition. And the music is from The Matrix.
Good music. The movie soundtrack playing.
Look at the height on that boost. They get out so high, they are so powerful, and they swim through the water. You can't really see how fast they move through the water because the camera's actually following them. Here's the first element, the half twist. They're trying to get out so high that they're almost bouncy. Spinning very fast, one just slightly in front of the other, but the faster you spin that down, the more difficult it is, and they were vertical on that spin. Here's the egg beater section. Trying to interpret this music. Ballet leg combination here, showing 3 different positions. We can't see the vertical from this camera angle, but I'm sure the judges can. Thrust with a twirl. Nice height on that. Here's the Ariana. Back walkover. Beautiful splits, great height, all the way up to their bathing suits. Now the elements in between the required elements, the choreography in between the required elements is only judged at 30%. Here is the bent knee combined spin. Look at how close they are together. I believe that they're swimming closer than anybody else in the competition. Nice height. The swimmer in the back was falling off on her back just slightly on the descent. Judges, oh, that's a really hard element. The rocket split with a 360 spin, and they fell off just a little bit. They were a little unsynchronized at the end of that. And a very hard ending, very well synchronized. And Dawn, what I was saying was the judges are going to be really looking at those technical required elements. They weight them at 70% of the execution score. Everything else in between is only weighted at 30%.
Well, the Russian fans obviously loved it. Let's see how the judges find it. Not much to find fault with in that performance.
As you can see, one was spinning a little bit faster than the other, but they stayed on the vertical axis, and then they caught up with each other at the very end. Beautiful split position. And here's the bent knee with the combined spin. The levels of the water are perfectly matched. They are vertical. And watch the height here. Nice, all the way up to the top of the bathing suit.
The swimmers representing the Russian Federation
And
are
out they come to see their marks.
Anastasia Ermakova.
Tonight's total, added to tomorrow's freestyle total, will determine the medals.
Εκτέλεση.
First of all,
8,9,
execution.
9,1, 9,1, 8,8, 8,8. Execution. 9.8, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8, 9.9.
Very good. That's the first set of scores. Overall impression now, equally good, if not more so. 4 judges giving them 9.9.
Overall impression, 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, 9.9.
So Russia moves to the top, 49-417. Mika Takabana and Miho Takeda, both 21 years old.
And this is the 3rd Olympics for both of them. They are very famous in Japan, especially since they were #1 in the world in 2001 in the duet competition at the World Championships.
And indeed, they are 27 years old. That's why they have 3 Olympics under the belts. You expect a strong performance, Tracy?
I do. Japan is so disciplined in every single thing they do, from just being on time to spending a lot of hours perfecting their technical elements. Here's the first element here. Beautiful, nice vertical. They really have to work hard, though, to get out high, because they've got slightly shorter arms and legs, and so they've really got to work to look big in the water. So far, so good, though.
Longer legs an advantage?
Definitely, because the judges are looking for height out of the water. Adding difficulty here with this hybrid. So far, they look good. Extremely synchronized. Ballet leg combination was good. Thrust. That was pretty good. The swimmer on your right sunk just a little bit faster than the swimmer on your left on that half twist on the twirl. Here's the Ariana. Nice. Nice. Beautiful synchronization. They look good.
Their music, Sakura 2004, composer Mizuho Osawa.
Bent-knee combined spin. Beautiful. Nice height. Perfect descent. Swimmer on your left was slightly on her face right at the very end, but that's getting very picky.
Question is, how picky will the judges be?
Exactly. And I like how they slowed that routine down a little bit right in the middle there. This is difficult here. Ooh, that was kind of tough. The swimmer in the front of the screen was just a little bit off vertical as she descended. That vertical split needs to go back up to the top, be perfectly vertical before that 360 spin. Nice rocket there. Perfectly matched. And again, trying to add some difficulty here at the very end of the routine to impress the judges.
Into the final seconds.
It's hard to synchronize those fast movements, especially at the end of the routine. I think they did an excellent job. I think it could go either way between Russia and Japan.
Well, while we await the scores, Russia's still at the top of the list. These scores tonight count for 50% of the total. The freestyle will come tomorrow.
Look at that continuous spin, perfectly matched. There's the required boost. They had nice height on that. I spoke to Masayo, their coach, and she said they really are putting a lot of effort into these routines here at the Olympics because this may be the last time that they swim in competition. Beautiful combined spin, nice and vertical, high at the top.
The swimmers representing Japan are
So now the scores. The question is, did they do well enough to catch the Russian?
And Don, they're going to need straight 9.9s if they want to surpass the Russians.
Davidova and Ermakova of Russia. Now the scores. That is for execution. You toss out the high and the low.
execution 9.6, 9.8, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8.
The overall impression. Straight 9/8. And that will not quite do it. They will be second in the competition right now by a little less than half a point to the Russian team.
9.8.
Spain standing third at the moment. So they're at 49 even.
49.000.
An all-new tournament with all-new celebrities. Celebrity Poker Showdown. Sundays this fall, only on Bravo.
These are all animals.
Born in Leningrad, now lives in Santa Clara as well. 31-year-old Anna Kozlova. And her idol, her hero, is the U.S. speed skater Dan Jensen, because he never gives up. The music? Music for Dance, Damn, by John Mackey.
And it's so appropriate for Anna that Dan Jansen is her idol because she has not given up either. This is her third Olympics. And had she gotten her American citizenship before the 1996 Olympics, she would have had a gold medal in the team event already, and this would have been her fourth, more than any other synchronized swimmer here.
And as you know, Tracy, she's had her share of injuries. Torn hip muscle, shoulder injuries, overcame a severe back injury and a wrist fracture in her career.
She has gone through a lot. She works so hard. Beautiful. Great start. Okay, let's take a look at this first element coming up here. And of course, they add a little bit of difficulty by being underwater before it even starts. Slightly unsynchronized on that twirl. A little bit wobbly. Nice descent. They caught up to each other at the end. Nice height on that boost. Second required element. And here's the egg beater element. Traveling ballet combination. Can't quite see the vertical from this angle, but I'm sure the judges can. Slightly unsynchronized. Ooh, on your right, she fell off a little bit to the left side of the screen on the descent.
They can't afford too many mistakes because the Russians have a big lead of 49.417. That's a high target.
Nice split position and walk out. Bent knee with the combined spin. Pretty good. The swimmer on the right wasn't quite as smooth.
Nearing the finale.
Having a little bit trouble with those verticals on the spins. Nice end.
Well, what do you think? Good, but maybe not good enough, huh?
Might not be good enough for first or second, but they are going to be hoping for third place. See what happens.
Third place currently is held by Spain, behind Japan and the leader Russia.
They really had a great opening. They were extremely synchronized. As you can see, they're weaving just a little bit to one side on that spin, but the levels were good on the spin. Here's the bent knee vertical with a combined spin. And those levels were pretty well matched. We didn't get a chance to see the whole element, but
once again, these scores tonight of the technical represent half the final mark. The other half will come tomorrow in the freestyle.
it is just so hard to get those spins vertical. Everything moves so fast, and if you don't get a good solid vertical position before you start a spin, it can be tough.
There's the first set of scores. Execution. And pretty good, really. 9.7, 9.6 in there.
9.5, 9.6.
And let's see what the next round of scores brings them. It could move them up nicely in this competition. Overall impression.
9.7, 9.7.
And it looks like they did it.
Yes, they did. 48.5 is going to pull them up into third place behind the Russians and the Japanese team. So a good start in the technical for the American duet. So at the end of the first half of competition, the technical routine, the Russian duet leads by 0.4 of a point. Then Japan, the United States third, poised well. Spain, France, Canada, China, and Italy rounded out.
Well, you no doubt noticed the nose clips the competitors were wearing. While not very attractive or comfortable, they are a necessary piece of equipment. Without it, gravity would draw water into a swimmer's nasal passages, making those upside-down elements nearly impossible. Matter of fact, synchronized swimmers carry an extra nose clip in their swimsuits just in case the one they're wearing gets knocked off during a routine. We're going to dive right into volleyball when we come back.